Conservative Toronto Mayor Rob Ford just keeps on having problems with 911 service. In an exclusive published by the Toronto Star on December 30th, early on Christmas morning, police were called to Rob Ford's home to investigate a reported domestic disturbance. Toronto police records show that it is the second time in as many months that they've had to investigate a domestic disturbance at his home. In a previous incident, Ford called 911 himself to report that the comedy show This Hour's 22 Minutes was on his property. The incident became instant headline news. To make matters worse, he was accused of insulting the 911 operator. He apologized for being aggressive on the phone, yelling the F word at the operator, but denies calling her a bitch. A confidential police services source contacted the CBC to say that he in fact did it, and challenged him to release the tape of the call. Ford refused, and instead had the police chief assure everyone that he did not. In this reporter's opinion and many others' opinion, he did, and that's why he refuses to release the tape. The tapes are confidential, but Ford can easily request to make it public. Following the incident with the CBC comedy show, 15 hours later, police were called back to the Etobicoke residence on a domestic disturbance call. The reason for the call has not been revealed. The Toronto Star filed a Freedom of Information Act request regarding the matter, but were refused on the grounds that personal information was gathered as a part of an investigation into possible violation of the law. However, sources familiar with the incident say the call came in at 10:17 p.m. and said that it was his wife that called after a verbal confrontation. As I said previously, the police were called again to the Ford home Christmas morning between 4 and 5 a.m. According to police, Ford's mother-in-law phoned to report that Ford had been drinking and he was attempting to take his children to Florida against the will of his wife Renata. The Toronto Police Youth and Family Violence Unit, which has jurisdiction over all such cases, has said that all incidents at the Ford home have involved verbal confrontations, not physical ones. The Toronto Star is also reporting that numerous 911 calls have been made to Ford's home over the years from sources. How many calls is not known at this time. Some police services sources at the Star report that there has been a handful of incidents in the past few years. The Star filed requests for the police reports, but they've only been partly answered. Only one incident has any information available. In March 2008, while still a city councillor, police responded to a call. There, Ford said his wife Renata was acting irrational. Afterward, he left the home with both of his children. Police later charged him with assault and uttering a death threat, but was dropped 2 months later due to inconsistencies in his wife's statement. After the incident, Ford told reporters that him and his wife were in counseling and that they strongly supported each other. In my opinion, repeated incidents of domestic disturbance are not isolated incidents. We have only his public behavior to go by. During his time in office, he has been abusive to the homeless and youth and ending home and food programs. He's also been outright vile towards the democratic rights of citizens who protest government. His handling of the Occupy Toronto shows how little respect he has for the freedom of speech of the people. Now, this is clearly some personal troubles between him and his wife. Hopefully, for the sake of their children, they can work things out and have a happy, healthy relationship.